And we're live. And we decided to go live and hook up our patrons with a live stream, as we have not done one in quite a bit. Now, we're going to be talking all kinds of things here in the realm of whatever we want. And YouTube has mistitled our video. Let's go tune into ourselves here. All right, and I'm not seeing it, folks. I'm not seeing the video. Apparently it's gone live. We don't see it yet. All right, let's just see if YouTube is going to refresh here, or if it's going to turn into straight hilarity. And it looks like can't see the video. So please leave a comment if you are viewing this live stream, as we are unable to see it from here. We're getting massive dropped frames also, as we are used to seeing. And I'll try hitting refresh one more time. We'll see if this actually functions. As this is a test press. Nope. Can't see our own video, so I can't put a link where it needs to be. If you've tuned into this, here is an image of Hurricane Dorian in the water vapor map for your trouble. And we're actually going to let that play just to thank YouTube for the use of its great servers and software. So thanks, YouTube. Your software totally works, and we are delighted to, quote, do business, end quote, with you. Please continue trying to shake us down for money, Google, as that will continue to waste your resources. Anyway, we have this crazy title here going on. I don't know why it's, for some reason, it's titled Solar Minimum Comment from Stereo A, Trump's New Green Deal. I don't know. I don't get it. Anyway, I'm tuned in. Servers and software. All right, so it does function. And what up, Snowflake? Shout out, Snowflake. All right, well, I'm glad to see this works. And we're going to look at some funky cosmology stuff. Let's look at some transients, shall we? Now, this was going to be an unlisted live stream specifically for Patreon, but it didn't quite work out that way. So thanks for tuning in, and please leave a comment if you saw a thumbnail that made no sense and a title that made no sense. Well, that's not what we typed. We typed in, "It'll never be now again live stream." So anyway, we're working on those little issues with the live streaming, folks. Not a lot to worry about there. Let's look at some transients. We're going to look at the most luminous object known to man, Blazar 3C454.3. And here are the transients from that Blazar. We really do see a ramping down there in the past 2 weeks, 20 days. I'll say a month. Anyway, there's the transients from that most luminous object ever imaged, Blazar 3c 454.3. Let's move to the right to the Milky Way center, otherwise known as Sagittarius A star. Just type in SGR space A on the Neil Gorell Swift-Batty telescope. And there are the most recent transients from there. And we actually, in the last couple days, saw an increase in transient density. Shout out Ben Davidson. Are you watching the video? Let's move farther to the right and look at two pulsars and the crab. Let's look at the Vela pulsar first, located here on your Milky Way galaxy map. And here are the hard emissions from the Vela pulsar. I like to use this as a control, as it doesn't seem to correlate with anything going on at Sagittarius A or Cygnus, etc. Pretty much baseline levels of activity there. Let's go farther to the what you'd call, I guess, the west. We'll look at Gaminga and Crab. First Gaminga. And there are the transients from that. Thanks for everybody leaving comments. I will get to them in a moment. If you're feeling crabby, I apologize. I apologize that you're feeling crabby. And there are the transients from the crab. A very important and very luminous and funky nebula area. Lastly, I'll direct your attention to this area right here. That is the Cygnus arm of the Milky Way galaxy. We're going to look at two objects. First one in the galaxy, Cygnus X3, otherwise known as Deneb. And there's Cygnus X3. Hopefully we're not getting too many lost frames. I did mess with the settings a little bit. I still don't have any idea why the titles and thumbnails are completely jacked up. Anyway, there are the transients from Cygnus X3, and actually in the last couple days we saw an increase in the density. That is more transients. Now keep in mind this is a very, let's say, significant object, as it is a Wolf-Rayet star being orbited by some massive object, some other massive radio source. And we're actually looking right down the Z field of one of those sources as it sends relativistic jets literally through your head if you've been living in the northern hemisphere. Cygnus X3, otherwise known as Deneb, the other end of the precessional north celestial polar cycle. And lastly, let's look at an object nowhere near the galaxy, Cygnus A, which is believed to be 500 to 700 million light years away. And the second strongest radio source in the sky. I would note the way the density increases from this galaxy. At the same time, the density increases in the constellation Cygnus. Now, if you think that's a coincidence, I don't know what to tell you. But there are the transients from Cygnus A. Again, this is the second strongest radio source in the sky, folks. Second only to the sun. Speaking of the sun, let me bring up some images of it. Let's do the last 48 hours here, and I'll go through anybody's comments. I've been meaning to get through a very long series of questions that one of our viewers asked, and I haven't gotten to it. It's got about 15 questions on it. And if you are that viewer, don't think I forgot about your questions. It's not because I'm doing research to get the answers correct. It's just because I haven't had time. I haven't been able to justify the time. Anyway, here's the last 48 hours. You can see the formation as well as the degradation of sunspot 2748 there. And let me just get through your comments. Yes, Snowflake. Wore a different hat today just because we got so many comments on the hats. Not only do I wear many hats, I also wear many hats, quite literally. I have to have multiple bicycle helmets just to be able to do my job as a time trial specialist. If you're wondering what a time trial specialist is, we're the bane of other cyclists because we steal double points during time trials. We're a lot more aerodynamic than the other riders out there, let's just say that. And you gotta pay to play, so if you're not on Patreon, you're not gonna get all the information. Although most of the information you will still get if you go on Patreon, because most of the posts have a public release. So that's another reason to check out patreon.com/smAsho. And we are out of here. I just wanted to talk about transients and do a test of the live streaming. We will fix the thumbnail and so on after this is over, so if you're viewing this later,